6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Mathematics is not about numbers, equations, computations, or algorithms. It is about understanding. A very happy morning to everyone. On behalf of the Department of Mathematics of Guru Shri Shanti Vijay Jain College for Women, I, Padmini Suthar from BSc Computer Science, feel immensely delighted to be the host for today's intercollegiate FISTA Damors 2022. I extend a warm welcome to everyone. I believe every auspicious event must start with a humble prayer. Kindly get ready for the prayer. Welcome the challenges, look for opportunities in every situation. I now request Dr. N.S. Indumati ma'am, Head of Department, Department of Mathematics, to give the welcome address. Please, ma'am.
A very warm good morning to one and all present here. People are either born to host or welcome or born to be the guest to receive welcome. A very happy morning to all. I am Dr. Indumati, taking immense pleasure to welcome all the dignitaries and viewers for the MathFest Damors 2022. On behalf of our Guru Shri Shanti Vijay Jain College for Women, Department of Mathematics, I would like to welcome our Honorable Secretary and Correspondent Dr. Gautam P. Vaid, and I would like to welcome our respected Principal Dr. M.K. Malati ma'am. My special welcome to our today's guest of honor, Dr. Joanna Kezia, Assistant Professor, Department of Statistics, Madras Christian College, Chennai. Welcome, ma'am. I also welcome the faculty members and coordinators of today's event. Last but not least, I would like to welcome all my beloved students, participants, and viewers from the various colleges of this MathFest Damors 2022. Once again, I welcome you all.
Thank you, ma'am. I call Yashita Jain from 2nd BSc Computer Science to introduce our today's guest of honor to the audience. Over to you, Yashita. Thank you, Yashita. We are really glad and honored to present a memento of appreciation to our today's guest of honor, Dr. Joanna Kezia Ma'am, for consenting to be our chief guest and inaugurating the Maths Fiesta, Damors 2022. We are really grateful to have you here. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Am I audible?
I now request our guest of honor and speaker, Dr. Joanna Ma'am, to carry the session further by acknowledging the audience. Please, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please.
Okay. It's my great privilege to be the part of the inter-college competition conducted by the mathematics department of this great institution. I would like to thank the Honorable Secretary Correspondent, Principal, and as well as Dr. Indumati, Head of the Department of Mathematics, the faculty members of the department, and as well as the students of the Department of Mathematics for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And thank you, Yashita, for the wonderful words of introduction about me. The topic that I want to share with you today is about how to handle data in our day life. You can start sharing the screen. Thank you. Can you just make it as full screen? Thank you. Okay. Before getting into the session, okay, I thought of putting forward one question before you. It's a small activity where everyone can participate. I think you can put it in the chat box. Okay, can you just move on to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. I think everyone will be knowing this activity. Okay, so you can involve yourself. So this is about the shoe size that you have. Okay, so I think you'll be knowing your sandal size or the shoe size. Okay, so I've given a chart where it talks about the women because I didn't know whether boys are joining over the session. So men's size as well as women's size, and like two tables are there, like two columns are there. You can see that is UK, India, and then the euro size. Sometimes we might know the euro size, and so that it will be easy for us to match up with the Indian size. So can you just put it in the chat box? I'll just give 2 minutes time. Can you just put it in the chat box about what is the size of your shoes? May I know it, please? Everyone can participate, including the faculty also. I think you can access the chat box, I suppose. Can you just give the number, whether it is 6 or 7 or 8? Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. And from the student side, okay. Thank you so much. I think some of you have responded. Thank you so much for involving yourself in this small activity. Because activity gives us icebreaker. Okay, so I just thought of doing this icebreaker. So thank you for your response. I could see the minimum count to be as 5. And can you have the same slide, please? Can you have the same slide? The previous one. Okay, so no problem. So the size that I could see was starting from 4 and then starting and up to 8. Okay, so we can see there is the shoe size varies from person to person, and this is a small sample data that we have on hand. Okay, the information I've just converted into as a data. So I could see the maximum size to be 10. Okay, and maybe it might be of different shoe size, but anyhow, the maximum size to be 10. So this is a sample of information that we have on hand. So the next slide, please. Next slide. Next, can I have the next slide? Yeah, thank you. So here we can see data, that is the information, which is in form of the information here and there. Okay, so data is everywhere. Okay, so we can't live in a world where there's no data. And what we do is, as much as data information we want, we just collect it, and then we what we say is we can use it for the later purpose. Okay, so that is our usual idea that we have in our mind. Okay, so one of the person like Peter Didens, he says that every second of every day our sense bring in a way too much data that we can possibly process in our brains. Okay, so we have too much of data in our brains. And I didn't know whether I hope you all will be familiar with the social media. Okay, whether it is Facebook or Instagram or a lot many, maybe Twitter. Okay, so a lot of social medias are there. Okay, and I didn't know whether you have noticed while using the Facebook. Okay, suppose if you're very much, you often watch cooking videos. Okay, so it will give suggestions for you. Okay, suggestion. Suppose if you watch some movies, it will give some suggestion. Suppose if you watch some comedies, it will give some suggestion. Similarly, if you watch some shopping videos, then it will show some suggested videos for you. So where do this data go and all? Okay, so these data that you do, that is we browse every day, it is being stored somewhere. Okay, so it is there, and then every time then we use that data, it gives us suggestions also. Okay, so the data which is there, it is being converted into information, and it gives us some suggestion. And for example, if you purchase some goods from Amazon, I think most of us would have purchased some goods from Amazon. So there also you can see, suggested for you. So it will give some other brand which is equivalent to that brand. Suppose if it is not available for you. So all these, when you go similarly, when you go for Apple or Netflix or other like other apps, and even if you purchase some food from say McD or KFC, it will show some suggestions for you, where these are the foods which are occurring now, and then these are the foods which have come now, and then you can get those things, since this preference is not given. So this type of data, I can say it as a big data. Okay, so this is one of the on trending concepts which is coming up, where the traditional data processing software cannot be used. Okay, so in big data, the way the traditional approach cannot be used, so we need a special software for that. And we can say data is just summaries of thousands of stories. Tell a few of these stories to help us to give a meaningful to help us give us a data meaningful. Okay, so this was given by Heath. We have data around us, so we have to be our challenges. We need to know which data we need to pick and what to be done, and how to be done. So can I move to the next slide, please? Next slide. So next we have what do you mean by data science? Okay, so data science. Okay, so I think you guys will be familiar with all these. Okay, so it's an emerging branch which is in computer science as well as in statistics. Okay, and data science deals with the preparation of data for analysis, I can say. And here what we do is we do cleaning, and then we do aggregation of the facts, and then prepare data in order to apply the advanced analytical tools, I can say. So here in data science, there are two major components it is being dealt with. Okay, how data is being handled. One is through the machine learning or the artificial intelligence, and another one is through the data, statistical data analysis. So actually, artificial intelligence, it's a technology which create the intelligent system that can simulate human intelligence. Okay, so it is a system where it will be like a pakka, like a human intelligent. It will be a similar to that of that. And machine learning, okay, it's a subfield of that artificial intelligence, which enables machine to learn from past data experience without explicit programming. Okay, so here comes the data analysis. Okay, so through the machine learning we can do the data analysis, and the next part is the statistical data analysis. So this is what I want to focus for today's session. Okay, so I just thought of giving few tips how to handle data statistically. So we'll all be I know the students of various department has joined this lecture, and so you might be from various disciplines, but anyhow you'll be coming to a point where you have to handle the data. Okay, a real time data, maybe in project or in some other maybe a club activity or in a group activity or a class project. Okay, so in some way you have to handle the data. So I thought I'll guess is next slide. So I thought I'll just give few hints about how to handle data statistically. Can you just move on to the next slide? Yeah, the first and the foremost step I can say is, first you have to identify the problem. So without a problem, like, you can't find a solution. Okay, so there are many problems around us. So first we have to know which problem we need to take and how to handle that. So first of all, we need to set clear objectives and goals. Okay, so that you can handle some situation. Okay, so I could say, like, for example, suppose India wants to increase the production of the vaccine. For example, we can consider as the COVID vaccine. Okay, so this is the current challenge that India was facing, and so what we do is, we have the two major vaccines which is being used throughout India is the Covishield and then the Covaxin. So in that, in these two types of vaccine, you can see that we want to know which vaccine is effective. Okay, so this is a main problem. What is the problem? India wants to increase the production of vaccine. So in that is the main issue. But how it can be done? Okay, so first of all, it should be a specific. I said no, the our objective or the problem or the goal that we have, it should be a specific one, so that we'll be able to come up with beautiful solution to that problem. Okay, so and then we can see that instead of having the vaccine to be effective, let's be very specific whether Covishield or Covaxin to be the effective one, because these are the two companies where our vaccine has been produced. And let's compare, okay, the efficacy. Based on the efficacy, how far the production can be increased. Okay, so our the problem that we have, that is the question that we have, it should be a focused one. It should be a researchable one. Okay, so in coming to this, we have a population of 38 crores. Okay, so how to get all that is information from all these people? Okay, the citizens are 138 crores. So how to get the information from this? So what we do is we take a sample. Okay, a sample represents the population. Okay, so using this population, how can we study it? So a population, whenever there is a population, okay, then we have to have a sample over it. How much we can't do. Suppose if we take the data from 138, how much cost has this been involved? How much time is involved? Will it be reachable? We'll be able to do it. So yes, can I have the share screen? Yeah, my slides are not visible. Thank you. So we'll be in a position that like what to do and which vaccine is effective. So we will be in a position like how to take data, like how to take the relevant information. So it should be a relevant one. Okay, so since our study is based on that is the COVID vaccine, we can't do a socio-economic study. So it should be relevant to the problem. So the data that we collect should be relevant to what we have. Okay. So the second step is we have to have a appropriate data. So I said, no, for the same example, I'll be sharing how it can be appropriate. Okay. So whether we are going to take up the study as a primary data or as a secondary data. So this is the first challenge that we have. So primary data means, so in order to know the efficacy of the vaccine, so I meet each individual personally, okay, and then you get the information from them. So, and it might be a bit tiresome task, because a sample, we are going to take a sample, although we are going to take a sample, maybe a 5% of the 10% of the population, but it will be a tiresome work for us. Okay. So, and how to do it? Okay. How it can be taken from the districts, how it can be collected from the taluks, how it can be split it to the villages. So all these things have to be drafted properly. So appropriate data should be collected. And we can also see that, suppose if we are going through the secondary data. Okay, so secondary data, what happens is we'll be in a position like where to get the records. Okay, whether we are going to collect it from the hospitals, or whether it is in that hospitals itself, whether it's going to be a private hospital or it's going to be a government hospital. So we all have to decide in that. Okay, so because it's going to be a representation of the population. Okay, so the data should be an appropriate one, and where the sample that we are going to take, that also we have to have it in our mind. So this is the second step that we have to think of while doing any while handling the data. The next one that we are going to see, that is the step 3. Okay, the next slide. Okay, it is about the data cleaning. Okay, can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so data cleaning is, we have to remove the incorrect. It's a process of removing the incorrect data, and it is a process of removing the duplication in the data, and it is a process where we'll be estimating the missing values also. Okay, so we need to know which one to throw it in the trash and which one to have it. Okay, so the whichever which is related to the data, that is the problem that we have, it should be there. The rest has to be taken apart. Okay, so we have to remove the incorrect data. That's what I said. No, suppose if it is related to some socio-economic, which is not going to be a problem that we are going to study, we can just remove it also. And coming to the duplication, okay, sometimes we might have the same response. Okay, the respondent may be the same. Okay, we are suppose the data that we collected from one patient 1. So, and the same the second time we are collecting from the same patient 1, so it is like a duplication. So the duplication can be removed. And the third one is the missing values. Okay, so when we can't get a whole data where the data is a complete data set. Okay, so we will be having some loopholes where the data there will be some missing observations. Okay, so how to handle those missing observations, there comes a question. So what we do is, either we can take the average of the values and then replace it, or what are the other available resources, then we can also use it. Or you suppose if you want to remove this whole data of that sample, you can remove that sample also, so if the information is not very proper. So all these things should be done in this stage. So first we saw how the problem has to be identified. Second, how we have to how the data should be appropriate. The third is how the data has to be cleaned. And the next step of the study is the data visualization. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so visualization. Okay, so the word itself you can see. Okay, so something we need to look into in terms of the diagrams or graphs. Okay, so data visualization is one of the trending concepts, okay, which has been emerging in either in it is in R programming or Python programming. Okay, so data visualization, why it has been very much important. Okay, so we have to know about it because data visualization gives us a overview about the data set. Okay, so suppose if there is any outliers present in the variable, okay, or in the data set, then we'll be able to identify it. So, okay, so that is why we go for the data visualization. And suppose if the information is correct or not, and we can by using the visualization tool, we'll be able to identify where the problem is. And usually this happens, you know, in while entering the data. What happens is sometimes, you know, while coding, especially while using the codes, we code the values. While coding the data, we'll sometimes, instead of suppose I code the gender to be the male to be 1 and female to be 2. Sometimes I might enter the other one more code, say 5, which is irrelevant to it. Okay, that data is not a one where which we can't identify it in the data set. Okay, but using this visualization, okay, we can have an idea where we have entered the data wrongly. Okay, so this will give an which will be able to identify the place where the mistake is. Okay, and especially the outliers. Okay, outliers are the values where which is not, no, I can say no, sometimes no, the outlier that we have, no, in case of the shoe size. Okay, suppose there will be a shoe size for say 12, okay, so or 13, okay, so which is not suitable for the data set that we have. Okay, so that outlier can be identified using this data visualization tool. And especially for, in order to start with the analysis, I could say that data visualization is very, very important one before you take up the analysis. Okay, so the next important stage that we are going to have, we'll be having it, the analysis. Yeah, next slide please. Analysis, the step 5, it is the analysis and interpretation step. Can you just have the next slide please? Yeah, this is the major part that we have to look in any statistical analysis. Okay, so first one. Okay, so you're just entering the data through some software. Okay, you're using, nowadays we are not doing it manually. Okay, we use some software and then we enter the data. And then what we do is we examine. Okay, first of all, we have to examine the variables are. Okay, whether it is in qualitative type and quantitative type, what are the independent variables, what are the dependent variables, which variable is dependent on the other variable. For example, if I say the current income, okay, so it will be based on the experience, based on the education, based on the earlier experience. Okay, so all these things plays a role over it. So current income will be the dependent variable. So the other variables, say education, and then the previous year experience, and then maybe gender, so they all might come under the independent category. So first of all, we have to know, we have to understand what are the variables are. And the same parallelly, what we have to do is we have to set up the hypothesis. Okay, so you might think, what is hypothesis? Okay, so hypothesis is based on the goals or the objectives that we have. Okay, so what is our goal? Okay, we want to test whether in the example, I'm stating the same example so that you'll be familiar with. So the objective, the example that I started with about the vaccine. Okay, whether Covishield or Covaxin, about the efficacy of these two vaccines. Okay, so we need to frame the hypothesis. Okay, how to frame the hypothesis of one. So actually our objective is we have to know, like whether this is efficient than the other one, right? So whether Covaxin is efficient than the Covishield, or Covishield is efficient than Covaxin. Okay, so based on the efficacy, we'll be deciding upon the main core problem, which is which one to we need to, which one to produce it more. Okay, so that is our basic problem. Okay, so based on this hypothesis, we'll be deciding the result. So coming to the hypothesis, so how we are going to write it? Okay, so hypothesis is a statement that we want to prove or disprove. Okay, so usually it is taken as the false statement. So in this case, what we have to do is there is no difference in the efficacy of the Covishield or Covaxin. Okay, so that will be our hypothesis. Okay, so I think you'll be now you'll be familiar with is what is hypothesis is. Okay, so after getting the hypothesis done, okay, so we won't say Covishield is better than the Covaxin, so that won't be the hypothesis. Usually what we say, they are a neutral one. Okay, it will be a neutral statement. So both are the same. The efficacy of Covaxin as well as the Covishield is the same. Okay, so after framing, so this is based on our goal. What is our goal? About the production of um, the vaccine that we have. Okay, in order to make it so that we won't have shortage of vaccine. Okay, throughout India. And the next is, so I'm giving an example where the vaccine is for Indian based. Okay, so we have various vaccines outside, but for Indian based, these are the two popular vaccines that we have as of now. And the next stage is we have to find a suitable statistical tool. Okay, so how to identify it? Okay, how to get it? So it is all based on the variables that we use. Okay, I already said we have to examine the type of the variable, whether it is qualitative or quantitative type. So suppose I want to find the efficacy, okay, the efficacy of the vaccine with respect to gender. So I need to know whether there is any association between efficacy and efficacy of the vaccine and gender. Okay, so in that case, both the variables are said to be a categorical one, because efficacy I mark it as yes or no, and gender I place it as a male or female. Okay, so having all these on hand, what I do is I just want to study it. Okay, so I want to know the association between whether efficacy is related to the gender. So in such a case, what the appropriate tool, okay, since both are a categorical variable, the appropriate tool will be a chi-square test. Okay, so we should get a suitable tool based on the variables that we have. Okay, so that also we have to have it in our mind. So we need to check the assumption. So chi-square can be applied when the variables are categorical in nature. So the assumptions of these tests has to be satisfied. So this is where the researchers make mistake. Okay, sometimes no, they fit that is a chi-square test for a frequency. Okay, so see, it will not be a sensible one. Okay, for the frequency data, they fit a chi-square test, so it will not be a useful one. Okay, it will not be a sensible one. Okay, so we have then we won't be having the expected cell count to be more than 25 percentage. Okay, there is less than 5, there will be some terms in the as the expected set. So all these assumption, basic assumption, so whenever you take any statistical tool, learn it. Okay, what are the basic assumption, why and where it has to be used, so that you should be very particular while handling the data that we have. So that is where everyone makes the mistake. So without understanding for what tool, for what type of data we need to use, they just simply apply it. Okay, so maybe we can add some descriptive, even for descriptives also there are certain frequency can be applied for only frequency data. Okay, frequency type of data. Okay, so that also, for suppose if you want to do a pie chart, or if you want to do a bar diagram, or if you want to do a multiple bar chart, or if you want to do a histogram, first learn what are the assumptions of it. Okay, why, where and where it has to be used, so that you have to have it in your mind all through your analysis that we do. Okay, yeah, that is while doing the data. Okay, and the next is you have to perform the statistical analysis. So you're going to start with the statistical analysis. So we that is using the appropriate tool that we have, and usually we have the all the software. We have the SPSS software. I don't know whether you're familiar with it. We have the R programming, and then we have the Python. Okay, all the languages that we can use, as well as the SPSS, which is a basic software which can be used for any social science also. Okay, so it's a statistical package for social science, so it can be used. So using those packages you can get it. And the next is you have to get the result. Okay, so it will be in form of a table, or it might be in a diagram. So you have to interpret what is there in the table or in the diagram. Okay, so that is the major part that you have to that is where you need to play a role. So the cup of tea in statistical analysis is the interpretation. Okay, so interpretation, that is where people lag in many times. Okay, they do the statistical part correctly, but interpretation, okay, then comes to interpretation, what they do is they give false interpretation. Okay, sometimes the interpretation may be wrong according to the what we it has to be done, or sometimes no, according to the problem they'll give the interpretation. Okay, so they, while taking up the problem itself, they'll fix up the solution. So based on the solution, they'll change the interpretation. Okay, so this is what has to be. So for example, if I want to have the Covishield to be the best, so you make the interpretation accordingly. So you just change the data set and then you make them. This is very, very wrong. And I want to share few ethics which has been there. Okay, so whenever you get into any, so after you completion of the course, okay, you students, okay, you get into maybe a corporate job, or any like any maybe a small scale or multinational company also. So wherever you go, they get an agreement with you that about the data ethics. Okay, so they get a signature from you, like where you should not use this data publicly. Okay, it should not a public domain, it should not be a public data, it should not be used for your personal use. Okay, so all these things, they clear cut, they'll ask you, and then they get a signature from you. Okay, so but so for the company's sake, okay, so you won't be using the data. Okay, so I just thought I'll just share few ethics. The next slide, please. The last slide that I want to share. Yes, can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, it talks about the ethics. Okay, so the little more. Okay, fine. So this so wherever we are, okay, whether you're going to be in a corporate job or whether you are doing as a student. Okay, so this data ethics is very, very essential for us. So it starts from data collection till you give the interpretation. So I just thought I'll give few insights for you. Okay, or maybe you can take it as an advice, or you can take it as a takeaway while after this lecture. Okay, the first one is maintain confidentiality. Okay, so always, sometimes we'll be having some sensitive data. What I mean is, we might be taking for example, we can take the, suppose we are doing a project on mental health illness. So it talks about each personal the sample, each and every sample will be very personalized one. Okay, so they'll be sharing their own experiences, they'll be sharing what they are going through it. Okay, it will be a very personalized questions will be there. Okay, so you should never disclose those things. Okay, because it talks about the integrity with that person. Okay, so with an integrity you start this, because you say it will be very confidential, we won't disclose this data. Okay, so if you disclose it outside, then it will be, see, you can give an interpretation, you can say a broader outlook, but it should not pinpoint any patient or a particular, it should not affect any particular organization, or it should not particular basically affect any individual especially. Okay, so always maintain confidentiality. Okay, and then the next one is don't cook up data. Okay, don't ever cook up data. What do you mean by cooking up data? Okay, so although it's a phrase, okay, I just say it from the depth of my heart. Okay, I see many students who are, suppose if they do the project, no, while doing the project they won't go to the field. Okay, simply at the home, being at home, just they'll the mark, they fill the questionnaire and then they'll submit it. Okay, they'll do some analysis and do it. See, for example, suppose if you're doing a tribal study, so going to the tribal place, it will be a very remote place where you need to go to that place and then you need to collect the information from them. Okay, it will be a difficult process, and sometimes going to a company and then getting permission and all those things, it takes time, it takes money, and then it takes our energy also. Okay, so don't ever do that. Okay, have that integrity in your heart. Okay, and don't ever go cook up data. Okay, in your future. Okay, and then I can say don't sell data or don't buy data. Okay, so the same thing, no, there are many agencies. Okay, so it's very sad to hear, sad to know. So they'll be, that agency will work only with this project. They'll, when you go there, they'll give a project, you can select the project whatever you have. Okay, so from the data they'll cook up data, and then they'll do the something which is already done, or they'll do it, and then finally they'll give the interpretation according to your convenience, and they'll do. Okay, so and then they'll get money from you, so say 5,000 or 10,000 or so something. Okay, so they get it. Okay, so this is a very wrong scenario which has been happening in this world. Okay, I'm very sad to tell you about this. So don't ever do that. Okay, with the sincere heart, you start from the beginning. Okay, you from the collection till the end, it should be your work. Okay, so don't ever sell it, and buy it as well as sell it. Sell it means whatever work you have done, please don't sell it. Okay, so do it as a, maybe you can help them in how you have done the analysis, maybe you can help them, but don't ever sell your data. Okay, sell your work. Okay, and next is avoid duplication or plagiarism. Okay, plagiarism is a very important concept. Okay, where I think you would have been very familiar. That is copying some resources from someone. Okay, I can say copying the data. Okay, someone has got the data, and then you will be using that data. Okay, so it is not that. Maybe you can get a subset of that data and you can use it. Or what you can do is you can try a different tool, statistical tool for the same data set. That is not plagiarism. So avoid duplication. I said no. Suppose if your sample is 500, so I know some of the students, what they do is they'll get only 250 or 300, and suddenly the 500 will come. So what they would have done is they would have done the manipulation. Okay, copy and paste. Okay, it is very easy in the software. So just they'll copy and paste the same data set with other one. So will that give a good interpretation or good result from the data? So you won't be able to get it. Okay, so avoid copying, avoid duplication. Okay, and avoid the plagiarism. And the last one I already stated, avoid false interpretation. Okay, so avoid convenient interpretation. So whatever it comes as the result, you place it, whether it is significant or not. Okay, no problem, you place it. Whether your vaccine is efficient or not, you place it. Whether the problem that you have taken, it is not that always it should be very effective. Okay, so if it is not effective, then you can develop little more. So I just, from the depth of my heart, I just thought, since you people are the future leaders of India, okay, as well as wherever you go throughout the world, okay, have these ethics in your heart. Okay, so I know you all would have learned value ethics. Okay, you would have done ethics, value education in your, as a part of your curriculum, but have this data ethics also in your mind, so that you will be able to be a fruitful citizen to the world, as well as you will be able, you will be giving a good result, you will be giving a good interpretation, you will be solving a good problem which will be effective, which will be ethical, and which will be helpful for the future generations to come. So with a small quote, I thought I'll conclude my lecture. Work as if you are doing it for the Lord, not for people. Okay, don't ever do it for the men's sake. Okay, do it for with the heart. That is, do it for because the Lord sees our work. One day your hard work will be rewarded in the days to come. Thank you so much, and thank you for your patient listening, and wish you all the best in your career.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have got to learn a lot from you today, and this session was really worth it, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Um, Now we would like to share some works of the participants of the event Math, Art and Math slogan of Damors 2022. These are the works of Math, Art. Students from various colleges participated in the events of Damos 2022, and it was really amazing to see so many talented students across the city. Here is the artwork of the first prize winner. It is really artistic, and here is the second winner's artwork. That is the runner. We will now present some slogans which were written by the participants from various colleges. Slogan of the first prize winner: your positive actions combined with positive thinking results in success. As I said, students from various colleges participated in the events of Damos 2022. And the most awaited moment is here. I now request Dr. N.S. Indumati ma'am, HOD, Department of Mathematics, to announce the names of the winners and runners of Damos 2022. Over to you, ma'am.
With ordinary talent and extraordinary perseverance, all things are attainable. I'm happy to announce the results of Damors 2022. We appreciate your involvement and thank you all. For the first event equals, the winner is Tilaga P.V. Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Shashan Jain College for Women. And the runners are Nandini B. and Vishnu Priya K. Veltech High Tech Dr. Rangarajan and Dr. Shakuntala Engineering College. Then second event, Math Talk. The winner is Rinku Sri Kanyaka Parameshwari Arts and Science College for Women. Then runner is Disha S. GSS Jain College for Women. The third event, Math Art. The winner is Mahashri S. GSS Jain College for Women. The runner is Gayatri M. Mahalakshmi College for Arts and Science for Women. For the fourth event, Math slogan, the winner is Divya S. SDNB College, Vaishnav College for Women. The runner is Rinku Sri Kanyaka Parameshwari College for Women. Congratulations on your well-deserved success.
Thank you, ma'am. Congratulations, winners and participants. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. I now request Sangeeta S., President of the Student Council pursuing BCom General final year, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Sangeeta.
Saying thank you is more than good manner, it is good spirituality. Myself, Sangeeta, pursuing final year Bachelor's of Commerce, President of Student Council. On behalf of Guru Shri Shanti Vijay Jain College for Women, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. I firstly thank the Almighty God whose blessing has led to the successful conclusion of this event. I extend my wholehearted thanks to our chief guest, Dr. Jonna Kezia ma'am, for gracing this occasion and educating us. I extend my wholehearted thanks to our college, Honorable Secretary and Correspondent Dr. Gautam P. Vaid sir, and our respected Principal Dr. M.K. Malati ma'am for their constant support. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to our professor coordinators, Dr. Indumati ma'am, Head Department of Mathematics, and other faculty members of Department of Mathematics. Finally, I thank all my fellow students who have participated from various other colleges. Thank you all once again.
Everybody kindly raise for the national anthem.